Good morning. So let's talk about electromagnetic induction. See, electromagnetic induction means that when the flux changes with respect to time, you have generation of electromotive force. मतलब किसी जगह पे अगर फ्लक्स बदल जाता है तो उस जगह पे ईएमएफ पैदा हो जाता है. तो जो लॉ है वो कहता है कि ईएमएफ इज गिवन बाय डी फाई बाय डी टी. मतलब रेट ऑफ चेंज ऑफ फ्लक्स decides the EMF. So I will just solve some simple examples to help you understand how does a flux change that results in generation of electromotive force. In this chapter you just have two laws, the Faraday's law of induction and the Lenz's law. There are only two laws on which this whole chapter is based. And both these laws only talk about change of flux, that is d phi by dt. So you have to imagine how you can change flux through a closed area and obtain EMF, which is voltage, which means if you have change in flux, you will get voltage. If you get voltage, you can get current. If you get current, then your bulb will lighten up. Now understand that if flux remains constant, you will not be able to get any electromotive force. The only way to obtain voltage or EMF, one and the same thing, is to ensure that flux changes. So let's see what are the factors on which flux changes and how we can change the flux to obtain voltage. Then voltage gives current, and then get current further can result in bulb looking brighter, etc., etc. So depending on how the flux changes, you can get EMF. So let's see how the flux can change. Thank you. All right, so let's talk about the concept of electromagnetic induction. So first thing is the flux is a scalar quantity. It has no direction and is given by the dot product of the magnetic field and the area. So this is the dot product, okay? And therefore in terms of magnitude, this is called as B into magnitude of area into the cos of angle between the area vector and the magnetic field. So if you have a loop like this, okay, and what you can do is you have a magnetic field which is passing through this loop. So the area being referred is the area of the loop. So this is the area of the loop. So A will be obviously pi r square, and magnetic field B will also be available to you. Now this is magnetic field. You have to calculate how much flux is passing through the loop. So flux is nothing but something like water, anything that flows. So you can see this flux is, we say it is flowing. Okay, these are magnetic lines of forces and they're flowing through the loop. Now let's talk about theta. Here you can see if you draw a perpendicular like this, right? Because the loop is bit inclined, the perpendicular has been drawn on the loop like this. So that's your area vector. Now area has become a direction, so area has been shown to be a direction, which is what it represents. So area has a direction, and then the magnetic lines of forces are in this direction. So you can see the angle between the two, theta. This is the angle which is being referred to here, okay? So flux, when it is written as B A cos theta, B is the magnetic field, which is this. A is the area of the loop, which is this. It can be a rectangular loop also. So it can be length into breadth. If it's a square loop, it will be area into area. And theta is the angle between the normal, which is drawn on the area. So you can see this is a normal being drawn on the area. This is the normal And then you calculate the angle between the two, which is the area vector and the B vector, and put its value here in the cos theta. So what you get out of this is the magnitude of flux, which is B into A into cos of theta. So this is a basic expression you must know when calculating the flux passing through a loop. Now assume a situation when you have, as an example, this loop which is of this size, somehow you're able to compress it and reduce the size of the loop. Okay, so the size of the loop has gone down, the radius has become smaller. Now what it means is that the magnetic field remains same, but the area undergoes a change. The angle also remains the same. So the angle between the magnetic field and area remains the same, but area has undergone a change. Because what you have done is you had a wired loop which is this, and now you have reduced the radius of the loop. When you reduce the radius of the loop, there is a change in area you get, which is A2 minus A1. If you change the area, you can calculate the new flux. So if the flux 1 was phi1 is equal to B1 cos theta, flux 2 will be written as B, no change in B, only area has changed. Put it as A2, no change in angle. So this is an example where area got changed and you were able to obtain a new flux. This is your new flux. The second way to obtain change in flux is by changing the magnetic field. So keep area same, keep the angle between the normal and the magnetic field same. Just change the magnetic field. So this magnetic field, increase the strength of magnetic field. The lines are now closer to each other, okay? So B has got increased. B has got increased. So again you can get a new magnetic flux because of that. So what you write is that my initial flux was B1, no change in area, no change in angle. Flux 2 is equal to B2 A cos theta. So you can see by changing the area, you're able to change the flux, which is this part. By changing the magnetic field, you're again able to change the flux. So you can calculate phi 2 minus phi 1. You can also do one more thing to change the flux, which means you can change the angle between the loop and the magnetic field. And this is what you need to do. If I were to explain this to you in a simpler manner, what you can do is you can keep a loop like this, okay, and the magnetic field is entering this area, okay. What you can do is you can turn this, and now your loop is in different direction altogether. Now initially it was kept like this, now you change the direction and rotate it and bring it here. So maybe the loop now looks like this, but the magnetic field is still this, okay. So this is what you have done. You have changed the theta, the angle between the loop and the magnetic lines of forces. So you will get phi 1 is equal to BA cos theta 1, and phi 2 will be equal to BA cos theta 2. If you subtract these two, which is phi 2 minus phi 1, you can again get the change in flux. So the first central idea that should be in your mind, the key idea is, if you want to change the flux, either you can change the area of the loop. If second way you can change the flux is by changing the magnetic field. And the third thing you can do to change the flux through the area is by changing the angle between the normal to the area and the magnetic field, which is this angle. You can maybe this loop is in this direction, you can straighten the loop and keep it like this. The angle will change because now the normal will be drawn like this. You can see now the normal has become parallel to magnetic field, but here the normal was at some angle. So you can, there are three ways you can, bring about a change in flux passing through a loop. One, change the magnetic field, which is B, which is what we did here. Change the area, which is what we read, that the area is large, make it smaller. The third thing you can do is the angle between the normal to the area and the magnetic field. If you do these three things, any of these, you will be able to obtain a change in flux. Thank you very much.